Hello, I'm John Young, Carolina Smoking John Barbecue. I'm glad you dropped in and joined me. We're gonna be cooking some competition barbecue ribs. So you just come along, and if you by chance are joining me on YouTube, then hit the subscribe button there so you'll know when I put up a new video, and you can watch and give me your input. What you think. If you're joining me by Facebook, just like me and hit me up there and become one of my Facebook friends. Okay, let's go and get this rib put on. All right, talk to you. Okay, we're gonna do a little competition rib cook this morning. I think we got the perfect rib to work with. We're gonna do 2 ribs. In a competition, I normally do 2 ribs, sometimes 3, just depending, but normally I do 2 ribs, and all we need is 6 bones, and I usually get 8 bones in the box, just depending on how the rib turn out. But I don't cook a bunch of ribs. I only cook 2, maybe 3 ribs. So today my granddaughter brought me this apron back from New Orleans, and it's a jambalaya. I guess it's got the recipe and everything else, so I'm using that. But this is a good rib just to show you some of the things that you watch out for. This particular rib has what we call shiners on it right here, and that's where the bone is showing through. And what we want to do, we're going to use a cleaver, and we're going to use our knife. Really, it's like a bone-in fillet kind of knife. Well, it's sharpened down to that. I wear them all the way out before I get rid of them, and I just love it when it gets down to like this length. It makes for some good work. Okay, let's begin. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take this off. We're going to save a lot of this stuff, and let's see, I got a bowl here. And what we'll do is we'll grind this up into sausage. We'll save that. Let me turn this around so I can better work it this way. I hope you can see it. And so we're going to take this fat off. We'll take all this off now. And usually under this fat is a layer of silver skin. So you're gonna want to remove that. Just slide your knife up under here like so. Turn your knife blade up and just peel it right off. It'll come right off. And oftentimes when you're doing this, you're trying to look for a whole rack of ribs. So in competition, I don't cook a whole rack. I cook anywhere from 8 to 10 bones, just depending. So we'll flip this thing over like this, and there's a diaphragm. This is the diaphragm. It holds all the organs and everything in the belly of the hog, and we're using, these are spares, and we're trimming it down. And so what you want to do is come and take this diaphragm off. Just trim it like that. Let your knife ride over these bones. Trim it right off. And this particular rib didn't have a lot of membrane on the back of it. So it was, in the butchering process, it was already removed. But many of you know, you just take a paper towel and slide that membrane right off using or pull the membrane off using the paper towel. So you should already know that. But this is just for training purposes if you want to learn about doing a competition rib. So you see on the back here, you got some crooked bones already on the back of this rib, but what you're looking for is a rib that has pretty straight bones if you can find it. If you can't, then there's no problem with it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna trim this down so our ribs are probably about 4.5 inches long. So we score this rib like this, and then you take this cleaver, and it's so easy to do it with a cleaver because that's what a cleaver is made for. And we're gonna cut this off. And this is great. This is a rib tip right here. You can put this on the grill, and it'll cook up quicker than the rib. And if you're sitting around chitting and chatting while while your rib are cooking, these will cook up, and these will make good tasters. But we'll just throw them in there and save them for right now. So remember what I said about these ribs right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove these from the rack, because we're not going to use these in competition. That looks pretty good. Let's count. I don't know if I had it up close enough. Let's count. Sorry, I'm trying to do this by myself. Here's our ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably 8 ribs. We got a bone here. I can squeeze out 9. But we're just gonna do 10 ribs for the sake of this because my grandkids will probably eat this. Rio, that's my dog. He's the sentinel. So they're gonna chow down on these ribs. Like I say, this is not the perfect rack, but this is what you need to see. You don't need to see a perfect rack if you're trying to gain some knowledge on what to do, because you may run into one and you know how to work it. Okay, we got this like this. So you'll want this rib to cook even, and you know it's higher up here. So we're gonna take our knife and we're gonna go in. Well, we had a technical difficulty here. We didn't get to show the completion of that rib trim. I don't know what went wrong, but something went wrong. But we'll redo this again sometime and do just a rib prep, and we'll put that up. But anyway, let's continue on with our rib cook.